Ladies and gentlemen, now we have a very informative and interactive panel discussion on the topic of lead change agents. It's now my pleasure to invite the following HCT members to the stage. Dr. Ra Saeed, Executive Director, Programme and Curriculum, who will discuss professional career programmes and will moderate today's discussion. Dr. Adel Alameri, Vice President of Strategy and Future, who will discuss professional qualifications and certifications. Dr. Jihad Mohaidad, Vice President of Educational Technology, who will discuss smart services and learning. Dr. Nadeem Khan, Dean of Institutional and Programme Accreditation, who will discuss Programme Accreditation. Mr. Ahmed Al-Mullah, Director of Student Engagement and Success, who will discuss the Student Volunteering Programme. And Ms. Aida Al-Shamsi, Executive Director of Human Capital, who will discuss Purposeful Emiratization. Okay, please welcome all of our esteemed panelists to the stage.
So if Mr. Ahmed Al-Mullah is here to join us, please. Okay, so it's quite a morning. We're talking about change, disruption, right? It's probably a strong way to start the morning. Change, I think in many instances, for those of us who are academic, we're always cautious with change, right? It's a concern sometimes, and some others see it as an opportunity, as a way to change for the better. But the way we're going to handle this panel is we're going to address the panelists on not the achievements, because we've heard from Dr. Abdul Latif, we've heard the success stories. We're going to look into what's next, as well as address what is highly related and directly impact the faculty members in terms of all these different changes and disruption that HCT 4.0 mandates in order to move to where we want and achieve the deliverables. No Emirati left behind, graduating companies, technology leaders, and 100% employability. So we will start with Dr. Adel Amri. Dr. Adel Amri, in your capacity as the assigned Vice President for Employability and Knowledge Economy, we have seen the success stories of embedding a professional certificate in HCT programs. Now we have more than 52% of HCT graduates who hold their professional certificate before entering the workplace. And we have more than 22 professional organizations associated with HCT. HCT is probably not the only organization that has this professional certificate embedded in its programs, but it is definitely among the leading, if not in the area, probably also in the world. Dr. Adel, as we hear this, we would like to hear from you what would be next and how this professional qualification and certification, along with the professional program that you've also been steering and chairing its steering committee, going to introduce to HCT, and what would our faculty expect and what would they need in order to prepare support for it?
Assalamu alaikum. There is a saying that is the only constant thing in life is change. 2016, HCT 2.0 introduced the hybrid education. In HCT 4.0, the focus is no Emirati left behind. That means that we have constantly to look for new solutions to cater to the needs of the Emiratis. Our focus was high school graduates. Now we are reskilling, upskilling mid-careers. So as a result of that, the professional program track was established, and it started with one program at level 4 in addition to the hybrid education that was embedded body of knowledge of those awarding bodies in the academic programs. However, now the future is to go more into the professional program track. We have introduced the skills sector or sector skills academy in logistics, retail. We have 5 more to go. We are working on a different mode of delivery. Instead of 100% in classrooms and workshops or labs, now we are working and we are integrating what is called work integrated learning. So we have now the apprenticeship model, and we are going more to launch programs using this mode of learning based on apprenticeship, where we have a partner from the industry from day one working with us, developing the content with us, and the assessment, whether in the classroom, in the workshop, or in the work base. All that is being captured. Students or learners are required to go more into developing their profile, evidences of achievement. So really, the theme of HCT 4.0, no Emirati left behind, requires on us to always look for solutions to bring to the society and community for learners to advance throughout their careers as well as through their learning growth. So the future is more focus on professional programs through this, the launching of the 5 more sector skills academies, and also the launching of apprenticeship mode of education with career with employers from day one. So this is where we are going. Also, for the professional certification, we are going more into a specialized awarding body professional certifications. For some divisions, we have started with an overarching certification, but now, inshallah, with the support of the executive deans, we will go more into more specialized professional certifications.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Adil. So it seems we have really a sizable set of programs that are going to be available for our students, and it's going to be a parallel track and opportunities for national and Emiratis at HCT. If we shift a little bit more now to the applied programs, Dr. Nadeem, mashallah, 100%. What's next? You don't have a job. What do you are going to do next?
Basically, thank you so much, Dr. Ra. Basically, 100% is just the beginning. It's just the start.
So 100% and beyond.
No, because basically in any accreditation, just to first to pledge for the promise, you get the initial accreditation. But the real journey is when you make an effort to maintain it, number one. You don't become complacent, because most of the time institutions and people in the institutions think that it is done and dusted and we can shelve it. No, it's just the beginning. Quality never ends, and it's an ongoing continuous process, as you say. And as you mentioned, as the theme was that the disruption in education is also affecting accreditation globally. The new theme for the CHIA conference this year is basically accreditation in the next decade. What would be the role of accrediting bodies when more and more flexibility is coming into the institutions, more and more work readiness is coming, and more employability and internships are embedding within the curricula. So what would be the next for the accrediting bodies? So all the accrediting bodies are now thinking on the ways to deal with this disruption. Obviously, HCT also always thinks ahead of the time, and we have established sort of a relationship with our accreditor, where we are showing our compliance. At the same time, we are trying to find out ways in which we can educate our accreditor as well. Because this is an opportunity for HCT, because as a leader disruptor within this sector, it is an opportunity for it to bring those innovations to the commission as well. Because mostly the regulators, when they start even the review process, they started in 2014 and 15 when they wanted to revise the 2019 standards. And by the time they were revealed, what happened was that they were talking already of the past. Sure. And things have already moved ahead from that point. So it is an opportunity to constantly engage with the regulator, to explain to them the new perspectives, and to constantly have a dialogue, because the only thing that can help institutions and the regulators is the consistent and constant dialogue. So they're understanding what the change and what the demands are. At the same time, we don't lose the rigor. We don't lose what we have achieved in quality. We maintain it, rather we enhance it, but in a way that does not stop us from taking innovative steps forward. That should not hinder us, but at the same time, that should not allow us to go blindly, because that is some of the challenges which come is, for instance, there's an amazing opportunity somewhere, and we go blindly against it, and later on we found out that that opportunity has hit us. So we have to think, we have to carefully think, reflect, but once we make the decision, then is the time to engage the regulator, to talk to the regulator, bring them on board, and eventually it will be a win-win situation for the institution as well as the regulator.
For the faculty member, what HCT faculty member can do now, just in preparation for probably what's going to come next for accreditation?
Basically, our 4.0 is such a challenging opportunity. If you see our mandate, so technical leadership, where will it come from? It will come from the start, from the faculty. And that was one of the key requirements. Now the CA report for institutional licensure is just with us. And one of the critical requirements for them is that they are appreciating you have an ambitious plan, but how can you deliver it with the current workloads, with the current amount of teaching, and at the same time, upskilling and reskilling the faculty. So how you will create that balance? Submit us a plan, show us it is possible in reality, and then they will endorse it. So these are the sort of dialogues that, as exactly I'm saying, that disruptions as well as innovation hand in hand with the regulator will come into play. And obviously this is an opportunity for every single faculty to enhance their portfolio, because this is not going to, this is going to upskill them. Wherever they'll go, they will have a currency in the job market, wherever they will go, whenever they will go, because HCT is always thinking of 2 or 3 stages ahead of other players in the market.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, you've touched on a point which probably hints to me I should engage Ms. Aida. Ms. Aida, we have felt very strongly here in HCT the changes in HR, human resources, and I know also Engineer Abdullah is very keen on making these changes very quickly so that faculty member and the whole entire employees of HCT can feel positive improvement in services and all that. And we've seen also the success stories, whether it's in HADF program, Sanadi program, and I know HCT now is almost the advisor or the leader in terms of spreading Sanadi program to other organizations outside in terms of consultation and so on. So everyone is learning how HCT is doing that. But I want to touch on something very specific to the faculty member. I know you've changed your services. People are feeling safe. For example, in quite a while, this is the first year where HCT has completed renewal of its faculty members really on time. And, but there are still some issues, and as we go with changes, and I know Engineer Abdullah Meheri is working with you close hand in hand in order to finalize as well as come to the announcement of HR policies so everyone is aware of it. Right? Yes. But there are some concerns among some of the faculty members, say, are these changes going to impact whether contractual commitment from HCT or other ones? Can you shed the light on what is coming next from HR in terms of policies, in terms of changes, how it's going to impact our faculty?
Of course, with the strategy 4.0, we will have very positive changes. And especially when it comes to policies and procedure, everything on the faith of the colleagues. We want to ensure in every factor of happiness and satisfaction of the colleagues. So when we do the processes and the requirement, we make sure that it's on the benefit of the employee. Even with regard the point of the end of service and changes and that would affect the employees, this is a false statement, and I want to confirm that we have a positive impact, and hopefully you will be satisfied once we launch the policies. And of course, when it comes to HRs as well, we're doing different initiatives to improve and to open the channel between HR and you and us. So we will have suggestion scheme launch very shortly. We will have voluntary programs. We would have different road shows happening by HR to educate you about HR processes and policies. And so our door will be open, and hopefully this year will be a year of happiness, and we can focus on satisfaction of our employees.
Definitely, thank you. Well, this is really assuring. Before going to the students, probably also touch on something highly related to the faculty members. And here we address Dr. Jihad, EdTech. HCT has moved really deep into the digitization of the educational process. And we've seen some of the highlights of the success stories. HCT is the Blackboard Center of Excellence. The number of halls and rooms that are interactive for video educations, all the online, all the digital solutions, all the smart solutions. However, as faculty members and academics, we still sometimes or recently have seen and experienced, say for example, some issues due to these changes and disruptions, assessment, FOA exams, all these concerns. Can you, Dr. Jihad, touch on these and say, for example, what do we expect next in terms of moving even further and deeper into digitization, as well as how are these affecting all the different aspects of the educational and academic process? Thanks.
Sure, thank you, Dr. Ra. Okay, now, education technology simply, as all of you know, is an enabler. So we'll have to enable you to do your job. And at the same time, we'll have to enable HCT to achieve its targets and strategic goals. Now, when we do that, okay, this is usually the short term. But at the same time, we have also to plan for what's happening down, let's say, beyond the timeline of a strategy, which is 3 to 4 years, for example. You need to look at what comes, for example, in 10 years. So there is a holistic system that we have to look into and plan for. So we've started a couple of years back looking at the expectations of the higher education system in general. When we discuss, for example, there will be sometimes no physical campuses. When we talk about, for example, that higher education will be an Uber-like. So in other words, where you would be able to recruit a student from anywhere, and a faculty from anywhere. So I would assume for this to take place, this whole thing has to be powered by technology. So when we plan for specific steps to be taken, it is part of an ecosystem that should happen. Some of it in the near future, some milestones in the near future, some of it is in the long run. What I would expect in terms of what's happening with the faculty, for example, in terms of the question, so one area we've introduced a year back, we introduced a separate standalone department to train faculty on using the technology, and we call it Teaching with Technology Department, because we need the faculty to be able to keep following up with us. At the same time, as you've seen, Blackboard Center of Excellence is the first one for a Blackboard in the whole Middle East. Its role is not just to do the e-certification part, which is we started with. That's one simple component. But at the same time, is to address what we anticipate will happen down the road, for example, in terms of activities. One key activity we are planning to launch, and we're working with this very closely with the academics, is the way higher education is being offered. So in other words, one of the areas we're focusing on, today, you teach your course as a faculty member, for example, in a semester. Okay, and if one of your students failed the class, then the student has to take the course again, spending a whole year in one semester, in one course. why can't we open it? In other words, if a course is designed in 3-4 competencies, a student might finish them in a month, but another student might finish them in 2 years. Why don't we leave it just like that? Whoever want to finish in 1 month can finish in 1 month, and who want to finish in 2 years can finish in 2 years. In other words, what would be important for the faculty member is the role of the faculty member will completely change. So it will change from a standard teaching profession to a coaching profession. Okay? So you'll have to coach your student on how they're supposed to achieve and certify a specific skill related to a course. That would require a whole change in terms of what we should make available for you as a faculty member to be trained and able to do. And that is where we're introducing all these changes from an tech perspective. When that whole thing is happening and the system is over like in a few years, you will definitely see much more than just a FWA. Everything now will be FWA. Everything will be online exams. Everything will be controlled by technology. So the disruption in the higher education that the president was talking about, if it's not empowered by technology, is not going to happen. Okay? So from a faculty perspective, if I want to address specifically, it is the coach approach that's coming to you very soon. And that's where I would encourage you largely to enroll on the Blackboard e-certification, because that will put you in the first stage. By March of 2020, we'll finish certifying train-the-trainer programs. So those trainers now will be available to train and coach our faculty on e-teacher certification, where you will be certified by Blackboard, not by HCT, but HCT will train you to get that stage.
Okay, so now you have a new title, coaches. You are not instructors anymore, you're coaches. Thank you, Dr. Jihad. We leave the last for the best, as they say. Ahmed al-Mullah. So, Ahmed, we've seen a lot of smart solutions introduced by Success and Engagement or Student Success and Engagement Department. We've seen also some of the numbers of their success stories, more than 1.5 million voluntary hours. Student engagement is really high. You walk around the campuses, you see the student services and academic services, students engaged, whatever requirement they have, it's all electronic, it's all easy and simple. But what are the future changes that engagement and success are preparing to enrich and empower the student journey while they are with HCT? What do we expect more? How can coaches or faculty member contribute to that so that it's even richer experience?
Thank you, Dr. Raya. Community service or voluntary program. I don't know what is the answer. It is a mandatory and it is a voluntary program. What is the answer? I don't know. I just keep, yeah. So this is the biggest challenge, to manage, to build and enhance our experience with the culture of a voluntary or volunteering program. Alhamdulillah, we have achieved more than 1 million of voluntary hours. Definitely, it is because of all of you. The support from the leadership, from the faculty, staff, all of them. Definitely, it is not the achievement of only the student. It is your achievement. The future, alhamdulillah, the program succeeded locally, but we are also looking for an international opportunities. So in the future, inshallah, we will have different opportunities. Our student to serve our nation mission. enhance, improve their international experience when we send our students abroad to contribute, to learn, to work with the different nationality and experience. Definitely it will be a big, huge achievement for our nation. Second, we dream we will have a real platform, a smart services, where the student will lead this initiative to post their idea, let's say activities. So hopefully this voluntary hub will be in each campus very soon, inshallah. And also for a community service or the voluntary program, we are trying to introduce or encourage our students to spend more time outside the campus. So that is why we have a little bit review of our calculation of the voluntary hours. Either it is inside the campus or outside the campus. Definitely, we expect a lot of support from the faculty. We have many nationality, long experience, so we expect more from you as a faculty to tell a success story about your experience. I'm sure all of you one day volunteers or contribute to the community. So we need your experience, your encouragement to push the student to achieve more. Let them enjoy happy. I mean, the beauty or the advantage of this program, yes, it is a mandatory 100 hours, but it is flexible. When, where, so the student can enjoy to participate in different occasions, even New Year. I'm sure many of our students celebrate and contribute to our celebration here in UAE, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that our faculty can contribute a great deal in terms of engaging our students in international activities, competitions, conferences, and whatnot in order to reach that goal. I'm going to open the floor for the audience for a quick couple of questions before I get any panel member to say a 30-second message. So the floor is yours. If you have an opportunity to ask the panel members anything you have, please mention your name, your campus.
Hello, I'm Dr. Akhtar Khalil from CIS division of ALAN. I recently joined ALAN a few months ago. One of the issues that I have experienced, because I have experience in industry as well, and I have won a couple of awards from the UK government and European Commission in innovation and technology. So one of the things that I have faced, which academia in general, not only specific to any country, but in general, these days they are facing is that the faculty normally needs some skills from the industry. Like, in other words, they need to work with the industry on some projects. I'll explain it in a way that if, for instance, I ask a very good chef who is very good at cooking Italian foods, and I ask him to cook some Chinese food for me, and even if he reads the recipes, he will still not be able to give the desired results. So my question is, does HCT encourages, if I, having some experience, if I want to collaborate with industry on some projects, and I do take that initiative here, I would like to mention the issue. The issue is that I have to initiate that on my own with the industry without requiring too many form filling or something else, because the industry doesn't like that. So will that be appreciated, or in some institutes where they discourage, they think that is as if the faculty is trying to do some extra work which is not academic related, but is the need of the day. So will that be encouraged, or will that not be encouraged? Thank you.
Thank you. It's really important questions. Unfortunately, we do not have Dr. Nicola here with us on the panel, but I would give the opportunity. Dr. Nicola, would you like to answer that? Because this is highly related to research with industry, asking if it is encouraged to engage, but with the minimum overload in terms of forms and regulations and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely encourage free communication with the industry. So we really encourage faculty to establish cooperation with the industry. Again, our departments, again, within the VP of employability and the knowledge economy, we are very keen to see this happen. So again, on one side, we can help you in establishing good partnership with the industry, providing you with introductions. At the same time, we can help you in negotiating with the industry. So very often, your focus is on something which is far from business. So we can provide you with a business perspective that will help you in putting together a good package with the industry. So again, cooperation with the industry is highly encouraged. We are more than keen to play along with you. So you let us know where we can help. We can do that.
Okay. One more last question, if there's. Thank you, Dr. Nicola. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead, please.
My name is Mohammed El Sabkari from the program Al Ain Main College. I would like to thank all of you for this very good opportunity to be with you. And my question is for Dr. Jihad. I would like to know what is your take-home message for young faculties who are willing to engage EduTech. I mean, what is your take-home message? Thank you.
Thank you.
The simple take-home message is, okay, you need to cope with technology change or get disrupted. So it is inevitable, okay? If you are not going to be technology capable and savvy, you will not be able, will be no longer able to follow the change and the requirements, particularly when today, for example, companies, okay, does not really focus on the academic degree per se, but on the skills and the competencies that the student graduate with. So if you are not going to be able to support your student with that, I'm sure the rest of the answer is clear.
Thank you, Dr. Jihad. I know you've been here for the last more than 2 hours now. Thank you very much. You've been such a patient audience. Thanks for all the panel members we have today. And thank you very much. We'll catch up with you later on different activities. Appreciate it. Thank you.